Hi, everybody. This is Dr. J, Professor Spikes, live from Long Island, New York, where the weather is wintry cold. I haven't been out yet. Have you been
Yes,
out, Professor Spike?
I did go out. That's actually a bargain considering, compared to last 2 days, because it's actually up in the 30s, above freezing. So
Yeah.
it was somewhat pleasant, so to speak.
The market is,
Speaking
I'd
of
say,
pleasant,
freezing as well.
yes.
Yeah, the market is
Are we still
wintry
down? Are we still
cold
down
as well.
500 on the Dow?
It's pretty
Just
cold on Wall and Broad today.
yeah.
Yeah. Marco wants to know, what do we think of Labu, Labu, the biotech 3 times bull, 3 times long? I think if you go into Labu, you lose 3 times your money instead of only 1 time your money on the XBI.
It's 3 times faster to lose your money.
3 times faster. But we are going to look at XBI. We could look at Labu, but it's
It's
just,
just
like I
the
said,
same.
it's going to be 3 times as bad as the XBI.
It's going to be the same. Well, if you find it hard to find patterns with the one times, then it's more exploded when you see it 3 times.
I don't like 3 time. Marco made a teary-eyed face. Marco says 3 times a lady.
3 times, yeah. Well,
Once,
hey, you
twice,
never know.
3 times a lady.
You never know what's going to happen with this market.
No, just like you never know what's going to happen with the football games, the playoffs.
Or you didn't know that LA was going to win,
I knew after the first 2 minutes.
right?
I couldn't
Look
watch
at
that
the.
game. I was so disappointed. It was impossible to watch.
Oh yeah, it was hard to watch because they weren't exciting. The only game, the very first one was exciting. The rest of them were. Well, the Cowboys game got exciting at the end, but it was still like watching a car wreck.
Here's an interesting question from
Yeah,
Anonymous.
that's a very good question.
Is AUPH, Arenia Pharmaceutical, going to need to push sales to get their buyout? Will Big Pharma think a large buyout price to be too risky because sales is slow? That's the second part of the question.
Yeah.
Big
What you say? You
Pharma
say that they
already,
shouldn't sit around being so obvious about the fact that they're looking to sell themselves?
BMY is Big Pharma, right? So
Yeah.
Big Pharma already expressed an interest. And I don't think that we have to wait for sales to prove themselves in order for this one to be bought out.
Yeah.
But if the board wants $80 a share, then yes, we'll have to wait for sales.
The question is if the personnel is going to stay with the company, then yes, they should have some good infrastructure to make sure that they're worth the price of admission. But if they're going to get bought out and they're all going to get fired, then why bother creating a sales infrastructure that's not going to be used by your purchaser?
Yeah, well, if you're an employee, if you're a salesman, you're going to do your job right till the bitter end anyway. I mean, I don't know.
I guess I'm talking about the bigger guys.
Yeah, um, I think the numbers will be there for Arenia Pharmaceuticals. So if it's a waiting game on earnings, that's fine. I'll wait. But
Right.
I think the buyout could happen first quarter. If they're willing to take in the low 40s, it'll get done. It's a question
Uh,
of what the board is willing to accept. So I think the mid 40s is fair considering it's selling at 19 right now.
well, yeah. Well, perhaps there is that idea that if they try to get sales up, that could be a high price.
Yeah,
It would be worth looking at the details about what could
that's
potentially
what
happen.
MA's figure is, that sales will prove out and then they'll get their $68 or plus.
Right. So then that would be a yes for Homer's question.
Yeah. How do I get rid
We're
of this?
getting we're getting spammed again. Don't even bother trying.
I gotta get rid of that
Change the
comment.
address.
Put user in timeout or block user. Block user.
It only blocks them for a little while.
Then
But
they somehow get back. Yeah.
we want to make sure they know it's not us. We're not love face. Look at
No.
this. How could you love this face?
Yeah. We're having trouble keeping a smile on our face today when we look at the tape.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty dastardly.
This is not the face of love. This is the face of desperation.
Ah, I'm jealous.
Wow.
Huntersville, Texas, sunny and 70.
Yeah. Well, some people get that.
Yeah.
We'll have that.
Farmersville, Texas. Never heard of it. Closest we come in Long Island is Farmingville, right?
Farmingville, right?
Yeah.
And we do have one of those. We have a Farmingdale.
And a Farmingdale, yeah.
So yeah, because we're sort of a farming climate.
Long Island was all potato farms at one time, where, most of it anyway.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I mean, you hear these stories about people people move in next to a farm and then they want the farm to close down because their crop is too smelly.
Yeah.
Same old story.
Yeah. So what do we got today? We've got Microsoft buying Activision, right?
Right. We got maybe a couple of ideas in the middle of this morass.
We have DWAC continuing to move up when everything else goes down.
Right. I think 1 or 2 of our listeners likes that stock.
People have made money on that stock.
Well, it's above the $10 that the original.
Whether you like the concept or not, you can make. It's nothing wrong with making money.
Correct.
And Meghan Markle points out that Albo continues to show strength amongst the biotech group.
Well,
and Marco wants to know: do you buy more Athesis or bail? How about you don't buy any more and you don't bail?
Right.
How about neither? None of the above. None of the above.
Just hold on with every muscle that you have.
Yeah, just probably hold at this point.
Like a Bronco buck.
Yeah. Same with CRISPR, same with the gene editing stocks.
Right.
Hold on for dear life.
Don't make any sudden moves.
XBI shows a lot of weakness today, down another $5,
Yeah.
I think. To 95.
XBI showed weakness. Moderna went below 200.
Moderna below 200, unbelievable. Novavax about 100, right?
Yeah, Novavax is another one.
Pfizer back down to the low 50s.
Right, and they're the ones with the best news. I mean, I trimmed on my Merck, thinking, again, you make a little bit of a gain, you might as well hold on to it before the market.
In this environment, you take all gains unless you own Exxon or Chevron or XLE. You mentioned Chevron.
And take your gains next week.
We charted BP. We charted XLE earlier, late December. So we've been warning, so to speak, about the energy sector being a place to go. But that's about the only place to go lately.
Well, look, there's this whole thing about people having their positions, not wanting to sell, but not liking the environment. You can see here that Marco sold some bought puts, probably against what he holds in BCRX.
Insurance.
Arjun did that too, actually.
Insurance, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it's insurance that's been paying off these last couple of days.
Yeah, insurance bets have been paying off, definitely. I mean, if you have large positions and you don't want to sell out, you buy some puts in an environment like this.
Right.
It's not a bad idea. I can't fault anybody for doing that.
No, and the worst that'll happen is you have to give up some of those shares. And
I've been mentioning that for weeks now, to buy puts to protect your positions.
yeah, we were talking about that for a number of stocks that we like in
Yeah.
general. Moderna being another one potentially, because I have a lot of holding on and I don't want to get rid of it.
Should we get to some of the charts?
Yes, please.
While we're waiting, who's your two teams that you would like to go to the Super Bowl at this point?
Well, LA is actually showing themselves to be something. I'm liking Cincinnati's backbone. So I'd like to see them make a move out of next week. And I was rooting for Dallas, but again, get everything you want. I'm sorry, what did you say?
So the averages are all red as can be. S&P down 1.6%, 75 points. Dow is down almost 500, 1.34. NASDAQ down almost 2%. Russell down 2.4%. Crazy, down 51 points. Things are looking ugly on the street. Well, continues to nudge up towards 100 as it gains another $1.50 to 85.33. This is the environment that we're in now, and Bitcoin is probably down. I'm not looking at it, but I'm sure it's down.
All the cryptos have been down today.
And JP Morgan, I have it right on my screen here, down 6.71 or 4.25%. I think the financials are getting hammered. Goldman had, I think, poor earnings today. Was it today?
Right. Goldman took a real slide.
Yeah, they took a big slide. So the XLF must be down a lot. The XLE, I'm sure, is up. And you want to start there with something that's up, the XLE?
You might as well. I'll see what our audience wants.
Something that's up to start the show.
Yeah.
We can chart XLE, Chevron, Exxon, BP, any of them. They're all
you can make it the happy show.
Yeah.
Wow, it actually took an afternoon dip, didn't it?
Well, we're up 43 cents or 0.67% on the energy sector. And that's a new all-time high, or at least new 52-week high. Let's take a look. My computer is slow. I'll slower up 5 times in the middle of the night. I think the wind's doing it.
It could very well. I mean, there is a piece of
not quite sure, but even on my
based on sonar or radar, satellite. What do I know?
It's very slow in loading. And now that it loaded, we see that we actually have a doji forming, but a bullish doji. It tried to come down, failed, and it came right back up. So it's a small range today on the XLE, but bullish. And again, it's not a new 52-week high, but it's a new, let's say, 6-month high as we head towards that 100 mark. I believe we get there. I believe we're going to get to that century mark, and we will see a 52-week high at that point. Oh, we're in the weekly. The reason why it looked like it is a 52-week high. Let me get out of the weekly into the daily. The daily the candle that I was looking at for the weekly is the same, pretty much the same, because today is only the first day of the week. So it is the same candle. But the range looks a little bigger because it's the daily, not the weekly. but it's the same candle. A pretty bullish candle so far today on the XLE. Again, as we
See, you've had a bullish couple of weeks there.
oh yeah. My friend Andy said, buy BP, buy the XLE. Did I listen to him? Yes, I
You
bought
probably
the,
tasted a little bit if I know you.
I bought the XLE.
Yeah,
But
okay.
I didn't listen to him on Caterpillar.
You're not like me. When people give you advice, you actually take it.
Sometimes it depends on who's giving it. So we have real good support at that double top, right at right at what is it at? Come on, double top, 59.40, like $60 roughly. Very 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 good support there. So it's looking very good. Maybe we pull back a little, back to the $80 level, $60 level before we go on to $80. I think this hits 80 as oil hits 100.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm looking for. You want to chart USO, or it's going to look too much like this?
USO is not going to look like this, I don't think.
Yeah, it'll look too much like this. All right, so we're done with the energy sector. Buy energy if you.
Yeah,
It's a
okay,
good
right.
thing. We've been saying the theme of this show lately, over the last 3 weeks, has been buy the energy sector because it's a safe play, safe haven, and on the way up. There's shortages in supply, and today there was a drone strike of some kind in Saudi Arabia that hurt the oil market.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it was. So I didn't. That was a headline. I didn't read. I didn't really read beyond the headline. Let's look at a loser now. The biotech index.
Okay.
We looked at a winner. Now we look at a loser.
We run the gamut on this show.
Yeah.
Let's turn out. Let's turn our smile upside down.
Really looks awful.
Yeah. Well, I mean, locally there's
all those optimists, including our friend Arjun, was saying that the XBI looks like it's bottoming. Doesn't look that way anymore. As it nudged
no, I don't see any tapering of that.
Yeah, another new low today, barely, but it did put in another new low. It went lower than Friday's candle by a little, by a whisker. So, I mean, eventually it will bottom. The XBI is not going to 0. I don't think it's going to 50. So if your theory is that biotech will actually be good this year, now is the time to add to your XBI. It's a very tough thing to do when you have a falling knife to add to the position.
Yeah, exactly.
So I would just get out of the way, let the dust settle. When it's clearly on its way back up, you could add.
But when we see that nibble sign, that we might.
The truth of the matter is we don't know how low it can go. Do we? Nobody knows.
No, we do not.
One thing we do know
right
is
now
that it hit a low back in 2020, March of 2020, during the COVID crisis, of 62.94. So presumably it could go at least that low, theoretically.
Yeah, I'm seeing more that area just before the big dump. Where all we're. I guess it's funny. Is that did it just bust the 200?
It crossed the 200, yeah, on the weekly.
Range. On the weekly, even.
Yeah, 200 week average.
Yeah, it looks like we got a little more. We got a little more downside to go. I mean, if you're looking at the momentum.
This is the number that you got to be very scared of.
Right. The old
97.15.
high. What is it?
The
What
old
number?
yeah, the key low here of 97.15, and that was taken out already.
Wow.
Scary looking shot. It
Yeah,
closed
especially since a
above.
lot of us got a lot
If
of
it
money in
closed,
these
if it
components.
closes above 97.15, I would I would exhale because a close around where it is now is not too promising. It looks ugly on the weekly and doesn't look much better on the daily. So
This is an
we're,
important
we're,
week.
see, it takes a lot of courage to buy this one right now. Probably maybe not the smartest thing to do either. Speaking of not speaking of courage, it takes courage to buy CRISPR. I'm going to show this
But,
chart. I don't know why.
well,
I shouldn't show any
I
biotechs.
think this was showing better bottom signs than XPI was. I know. Are we
Yes,
still on the weekly now on this one, or are we on the daily on this one?
I don't know.
All right, so we can
Right
take a look.
now, it's going to load and reload a few times until it's happy.
All right.
CRISPR Therapeutics, gene editing. It does look like it's trying to make a bottom right where we are.
Yeah. I mean, this one more than the other one. The other one looked like it's, like you said, a falling knife.
Yeah, it's flirting with this 65-90 level. It did put in a new low today, I think. Let's see. Lower low than Friday, 64.6. Yeah. So it made a newer low, which we don't like, the lower low. But it's now above that key support area, trading above it right now. See how it closes. It's very tempting to add to these positions, considering where they were and where most of us bought in. You know,
Right, and also
now.
where we think it may go in the future. But the question is, do we do it now or do we wait a week?
If you're holding biotech, chances are you're in positions that are red, and you're very tempted to add to average down a little bit.
Right.
Let's look at Apple. Apple, one of the big analysts is calling for a $200 Apple. I don't see that being a bad call. It seems like you can
Got a lot
never
of
go
extra
wrong.
drawings in there.
Go wrong calling for a 20% move up
Yeah.
on Apple. It's not a brazen call in my mind. The only thing brazen about it is clearly it's pulling back right now. It's pulled back to the 9-day, and it's found support at the 9-day quite a number of times. It's also gone below the 9-day quite a number of times. It has not hit the 50-day or the 100-day unless you go all the way back to, let's see, March 2020. This is a weekly. So you have to go back to March 2020 for the price to have hit the 50 or the 100. This has been super bullish, staying above the 50 on the weekly. And the daily probably looks,
People
maybe
who bought at the beginning of the lockdown weren't necessarily smart. They just bought. And hopefully they kept whatever gains they made during that time. If you're a better person than me,
the
Gummy.
daily shows that we're approaching a very clear double bottom.
Did you move back to daily?
I hate to say by Apple, but why not? Why not by Apple?
Well, maybe not today, but buy it soon.
Yeah, we are talking about a double bottom at 167.50. That's only 3 points below. And that's where the 50 is as well. So that's a clear-cut support area, 167.50. Let's see exactly where the 50 is. 50 is at 167.51. Look at that. I like when everything lines up, when the stars all line up. Does that mean it's going to touch 167.50? Not necessarily. It could stop at 168, and that would be sufficient. In fact, I hope I think it'll actually not make it lower low than the one we had on January 10th. That's 168.17. So the time to buy, in my mind, if you're looking for the absolute bottom, is 168.39. I'm looking for the absolute bottom before a turnaround on Apple and the rest of the market, because Apple is the market right now. Everyone owns Apple heavily in their portfolios, whether they know it or not.
Right.
They have any sort of mutual fund, if they own the Qs, the S&P, whatever, they own Apple. Facebook. An analyst on Yahoo Finance today makes Facebook his best tech pick of the year.
I always wonder why. You should call it Meta.
I should say Metaverse, right?
Meta
platforms, whatever. It's held up relatively well compared to many of the peers. Maybe that's why. His three best tech picks are Uber, Meta, and what was the third one? I wrote it down. I don't remember.
Who are we talking about?
I forgot his name. He was on Yahoo Finance.
Oh, okay.
Perfect trend line. Look at those three hits. Perfect. Today's hit of the trend line, it bounced right off of it. Like it's supposed to, you know? Again, when the stars line up, it's a beautiful thing. So if you bought it at the trend line, you would have bought at the low of the day, 318.32, and be up 3 points already. The trend line, it's nice to draw a straight line. All it takes is a ruler, well, not even your computer. In the old days, it took a ruler or a straight edge. Now you don't even need that. Trend line is a tremendous tool. One of the best things you can do is draw a straight line when analyzing the stock. So Facebook looks good in that it's holding trend, and it's relative to the rest of its peers has not taken a big hit, not since January 1st. Let's see, since January 1st, since January 3rd. January 3rd, it was at the high of 341. We've gone down 20 points, which is really not too bad, right? It's, what is it? A little more than 5%. Not terrible compared to, say, Amazon. Amazon was his third pick. Now that I mentioned it. So what do I think of Meta? Should it be bought? I suppose so. I think all the FANGs should be bought at this point. Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, and Google.
Yeah, I think Netflix is giving up a buying opportunity now.
I mean, it's one of these things. Do you believe that this time it'll be different and the market will really collapse, or is it buy the dip?
No, exactly.
I
If
think
you're going to be invested in something, you might as well be invested in this.
you have to play the odds and assume it's a buy the dip. So we looked at Apple and we looked at Facebook. Let's look at Amazon.
Look at Amazon, yes. And then we could look at Microsoft since that's the one that's in the news.
Yes, we should. They're going to challenge Facebook for a piece of the metaverse with the
For a
purchase
piece
of
of the action. Piece of that gaming action. You know, it's funny because whenever I think of content, I think of like Viacom and CBS. But these these video games is pure content also.
The analysts who picked Amazon basically thinks the margins will improve drastically second half, making it a very good pick for the year.
Well,
one of the problems, heavily investing in this and that, and so like they always do, and at the same time their margins have been putrid. They can't pass on all of their costs to the consumer. So we had a double bottom.
You're not feeling those costs the same way mom and pop are.
We had a double bottom here that got taken out, 31.76. It's trading above the double bottom now, but it at least crossed it last week and today again. Right now it's trading above that 31.76, but very close. We would like it to close above that straight line that I just drew. That below it makes me think that we're looking at this area here, 31.33. Not much difference, but that's the secondary support area. So you have major support right where we are, and also notice it bounced off that 31.33 last week, hit 31.26 and bounced. So this straight line is both straight lines are this clear-cut support, and you got to watch that it doesn't go below that. If it goes below that, we're looking at probably we're looking at a nasty fall if it goes below this area. Could go as low as 2,900 very easily. Of course, we have some support here at 29.97 or 3,000 as well. But clearly, if you're long Amazon, as I am, you want to see it hold this line right where it is, which it may do. It might be really a good time to buy Amazon.
Funny thing is this, when I'm looking at it's looking a lot, for whatever reason, it's looking a lot like the IWM.
You want to look at IWM?
Very that, because we know Amazon's special, right? In that they're the ones that are setting themselves apart from the plain old market. But if you look, there's been a bit of a trading range for the last 6 months.
Yeah. What does Dr. J say about Amazon?
Dr. J says that there's never a wrong time to buy Amazon. He also says, when in doubt, that is the law. When in doubt, buy Amazon. That is the law.
That is also correct.
Yes.
It's
something a little upside down parabolic going. I'm hoping, look, for my own self, I've always been hesitant to buy this stuff, even when you gave it to us at 1,600. But we know long term it's definitely worth having in the portfolio. And that's another one that, like you said, if you're in the queues or if you're in any of those high tech mutual funds, then you already got a lot of Amazon anyway. So this is the IWM, right? And if you look at the weekly,
yes,
yeah, you see the same basic idea that an upswing and just the sort of doldrums for the last 7 or 8 months, and then some sort of teasing at the low end. It's a teasing at some
Well,
sort of support.
according to recent past history, it should be bought right where it is.
Right. It looks like this is the support. So the question is, like I said,
Yeah,
I'm curious about what happens this week. Does it break this line and get parabolic, or does it bounce off this line? And I have the same exact question
we
on
have a
Amazon.
net. We do have another. We have another net to catch it at 204, 205. So if it breaks down, 205 is another opportunity to catch. Say, stop falling. You fell enough.
Right.
Otherwise, 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 we're looking at
We're
for
looking at March.
support this level here, 190.
It's not quite March. It's like the end of 2020.
Yeah, but according to the last 7 months history, this is a time to be buying IWM.
Right. If you believe that this is a trading range, and that this trading range is just gonna keep going, then you're right. This
Yeah,
is the bottom of it.
yeah, we're at the bottom.
Right.
And notice how it bounced off of this line. You see?
See, I would feel a lot better if
It-
the 50, if the slope on the 50 hitting the 100 wasn't so steep, or is that the 100 hitting the 200?
The 50 is crossing both the 200 and the
Yeah.
100.
So I don't like the fact that there's a bit of momentum there on the
Yeah,
drop.
and the 9 day is clearly below everything.
Right. So depending on what the 50 does.
Let's see how the weekly looks.
I thought that was the weekly. Oh, well, it'll even be clearer here.
Well, it's much more bullish, isn't it? I think it's much more bullish.
Right. So you say you're right. It's bullish for a bounce. No, but that very last dot is a red dot with no
Yeah,
tail.
but if you look at going all the way back to January 20, March 20, it's been on
Yeah.
the rise.
Oh
It's
no,
pretty,
everything since COVID has been up.
and the same support lines are valid. Looks pretty good.
204. Yeah, you're right. Right. So if we don't get a bounce here, we can get a bounce at 204.
Yeah,
Well, you're right. At least in this picture, the 50 and the 100 and the 200 are behaving better.
much better.
Yeah.
It gives you more reason to go ahead and take a gamble and buy it right here, the IWM.
Well, the IWM,
Microsoft,
right? It's the broader market, right?
Microsoft is finally down 2%.
Yeah, and that's just because they made that buy, and maybe they gave a slight bit more premium than they could have, but I don't think so.
How many billion did it cost them? A lot of billion. I don't know.
86 billion, but they had it in their back pocket.
That's a lot of billion, 86.
Yeah, it was burning a hole in their pocket.
I guess so. I don't know what to do with that money.
Are we on the weekly or the daily? We're on the weekly. I know when you look at this picture, it just looks like a little blip.
I don't know. It looks like we're flagging here. Bullish. It's still bullish. It's got bull written all over it. Just again an opportunity to buy. That's all it is. All of these charts all look the same. Many of them are screaming buys. There you go. It's sitting right under support. It broke support by a little bit, but it turned green, so it'll probably be close above this support line.
Yeah, no, because this is an artificial one. It was because they laid out money.
Yeah.
I would, that's not a natural. That's not a natural drop. Yeah, yeah,
Microsoft, the chart says buy me on any dip.
yeah. It does, doesn't it?
That's what it says. Buy me on any dip. What other names do I have?
Well, the only other things you have Uber for whatever reason. That's the only new
That's
one.
because that analyst picked it. He said, "Do Uber is a great opportunity when we finally emerge from COVID."
Now, why would that be?
Uber? Well, I guess people are scared to take Ubers because they're going to catch COVID from the driver, maybe.
Right.
I don't
I mean,
know.
I guess the other issue is people can't buy their own cars anymore.
Yeah.
So,
This is the Trump play, Trump media.
oh, this is whack.
Yeah. This one is breaking every line you can draw. So it's
I know
scary.
they get indicted and the price goes up.
Yeah, I mean this one. If you own this one, congratulations. It looks like a winner. You
I
think
think
it'll go straight up till the
I think
launch?
Patrick was all of this.
I think it'll go straight up till the launch on President's Day. I think it launches President's Day.
Well, something's got to pay for his debts.
It broke the clear-cut resistance rather easily over the last 4 trading sessions. So beginning with Wednesday of last week, it poked its head above and it's now pulling away like a horse race. You got to figure this would be the next resistance right in here, up at 121. The support is again unchanged from from what we talked about. 66.31 is support. So you have support at $66, resistance at 121. I mean, if you had a decision to make, long or short, I think you got to go long at this point. It's got the Momo.
Right.
What else did I talk about?
I forgot the BCRX lit and BCRX lit, and then I had a couple of requests.
What's your request?
I wanted to get your opinion on Moderna, whether or not this is just a dead duck or whether or not it's going to come back.
You have all these great companies, Moderna, Novavax, Pfizer, BioNTech, all getting killed because they're looking ahead when there is no COVID or when COVID is endemic. I think that's the logic here. You know, the market is looking ahead. Doesn't the market look
Right,
6 months ahead?
We've been hearing stuff that this mRNA might even be workable for cancer, and that there's been some interest. And the way the market's reacted to it is these last drops.
The market is reacting as if it's strictly a COVID play.
Right.
And really, it's more than that. It's what you're saying.
I would have thought so. I don't know. I mean, people are liking this mRNA technology. I mean, just like you talk about gene editing. I mean, granted, not everybody understands it. And granted, there might be some back end thing to worry about. But
look at we're playing at support all the way back from June of 2021. That's where we're playing. It's flirting with this line of support, about 185, 186, right where it is. So again, either it's a great buy or it's going to go all the way down to the way down here where you have support, I think at around 100. Let me see
This was
what.
before before the vaccine was even made widely available.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
The action is like there is no COVID, or there will be no COVID shortly. That's how they're playing it. 145 would be the clear-cut weekly support level. If it breaks this line, that's what the chart is indicating. Doesn't
Right.
have to get down there, but that's where the next level of support is. It is an unbelievable fall from 450, I believe the high was.
Yeah, no, I mean, we were liking it at around 3 and change, right after it took the
I
drop.
bought it at 330, and I
And then
sold
it went
it.
down, and then it went back up again, like you can see here.
Yeah, I
And then
sold
it
it
gave
at
it
280.
another bit of a throw, and then just sort of fell since then.
I lost 50 quick points on Moderna and got out, but at some point it's going to be a great buy, whether it's today or tomorrow, I don't know. Because like you say, they're more than just a COVID play. They could have the cure for cancer. I mean, they're a player. Moderna is a player, and they got lots of cash now. They're a player.
That's true. They do have lots of cash, don't they?
Yeah,
They should.
they're a player. No question about it. They could buy somebody. They're a player. At some point, it's not only a good buy, but a great buy.
Right.
I don't know if it's today or tomorrow. That's the thing. I just don't know.
Right, exactly. Again, all these charts that we've been looking at today. Like,
They all have me.
give me a day, give me 2 days.
They all have me wanting to open up my pocketbook and buy everything we looked at pretty much.
Yeah, Kamal was like, I think Kamal was very frustrated because he was saying he's so deep in the red and so stuck. I understand the feeling. It's like you don't want to give
BCRX, I have no different feeling about it than I did when it was at 18 recently. It's
right.
going to 21 to 25 by mid-year. So on this
I was
pullback again,
trimming it there. I'm wondering if I should get back in again a little bit. I mean, I still have plenty. It's still my biggest holding.
it touched the 12-day, it touched the 9-day today and bounced off of it. There's been a lot of little bounces off of support, but every chart I'm looking at today. So it's found support and it bounced. And you can say that about every chart that I looked at today, pretty much. They all stopped right where they're supposed to stop. Forward.
You think the support is on the 9-day or on the 50?
On the 9-day, it bounced off. BioCris is found support and it looks like it bounced off of it. Yes.
Right. I mean that green line is behaving well.
Yeah. Well, was there any others?
Oh, any others to look at? I wanted to look at ARC and the water stock. I know water stock personally. Because again, ARC, we were calling a bottom on that, but then there's a bottom below the bottom. I mean, I thought we were calling a bottom.
There's always a bottom below the bottom.
Well, not it's zero.
Yeah, well, it's not going to zero. It's got quality companies, nothing but 30 of the best tech companies in the world. Innovation companies, whatever. Down 3.33% as Kathy continues to sell Tesla to pay for the redemptions.
Oh. I mean, do we even have new support here anywhere?
It's still right on that downward trend line. Let's look at the weekly.
Yeah.
Try to get a clue where it might stop. Well, it could stop at the 200
Right.
on the weekly.
I just bought some more today.
200,
I was just thinking that nothing could be worse than today.
$73.27. We're pretty close to that. You would think that would be a good place for it to turn around, right? 73.27.
Fingers crossed.
Again, it looks like a buying opportunity. Like so many of these charts we've looked at. You want to wait till it hits the 200? Go ahead.
Yeah, it's not like it ain't gonna happen.
It may not happen. Right.
We have a request from Mankind.
Yeah. All right, so we looked at everything we're supposed to. You have one more?
We have a request from Mankind, so we'll do that and then we can go.
Mankind actually is going against trend and up today, up 3% on some kind of news regarding one of its partnerships. I forget which one. You know, Mankind has got tremendous flexibility to make new drugs quickly. That they're not new drugs, just another way of taking them. And the action of an inhaled product is different than the action of a pill or injection. And different better in many respects, maybe different worse in some respects, but different.
Now this is the weekly, but it's nice to look at the weekly on a stock like this.
Sure you do. You need a perspective.
Yeah. You know, if you go those lines up, you almost have a bullish pennant. Almost.
Yeah. You do actually.
Except for the last couple of weeks.
Definitely. If you go, it's actually consolidating since whatever that date is, since 1/31/21. So since beginning of last year. Wait a second.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Because
remember, the beginning of the year gave us a lot of good gains, and we've been decaying.
Consolidating for a whole year, in other words.
Yeah. But think about all your portfolios. How many of us have really had anything great happen after like February or March of last year?
True. Considering it's a bio-direct, it's held up very well. Very well. And the other one that someone mentioned is Albo. So yes, the chart looks very nice on this one, and it probably will break out sooner than later when this market turns around. You could look for $5 plus on Mankind. Albo.
So Rego Marco really liked your Twitter show with Arjun. I know yesterday's a holiday. So you're planning on another one next Monday?
Yes, I didn't do it this Monday because there's no market. So
right.
Yes, every Monday.
Your answer, Rego.
Every Monday we'll be on. It's almost like the radio. It's called Twitter Spaces, and it's audio only. Discussion of the market close. This
very
one
interesting chart, isn't it?
This one killed me, killed a lot of us, but lately it's true to this trend line that I drew on the weekly. It's coming back strong off of the $20 level. It's up to 26.80 and not down much on a very bad day. So Not bad at all. I just want to check the averages one more time. See if there's been a might on. Let's check those averages.
Do you have
Now
an
about the
opinion about,
same.
do you have an opinion about Sava? I didn't want to do the chart, but do you have an opinion about Sava like this week or anything? Or are you just sitting and waiting?
Yeah, probably shade around $20. I liked it at 40, not good at 40.
Words of wisdom. I didn't hear a word of it like it was a Charlie Brown show. I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you had to say.
Nothing has changed.
Okay.
Sava looks good. Not the chart, but the stock.
Right, I know.
Chart
The question is
probably
whether we
doesn't
get
look
back in.
good.
I'm not getting back in this week. Not with the way the market's behaving.
Wait till the dust settles a little bit. Yeah, since we're on, the average has actually worsened a little bit.
Huh.
Incredible. Yet the individual stocks looked like they were bouncing of the day, off the lows of the day.
Well, then
But the
tomorrow might be
averages are making
another
new
rough day.
lows. It might be. There's still another hour and a half left. An hour. What's left? A half hour of the trading day is left.
Half an hour, right? My regular market's asking
You could get a bounce in the correct. Solid chart looks fine. I mean,
It's
it's
another
the same
historical
old
chart.
support.
Yeah.
It's the same support line that it's been at over and over again. So if you believe in this company, better to buy it now than to buy it at 75.
Right.
So that's it for today. We did a good job.
Yeah,
We covered a lot.
We're good. Rego, we'll take care of that. We'll take care of that Tilray on Friday. Maybe there'll actually be like some reasonable movement that we can talk about.
How did that guy get back on?
They changed like one letter on the name. It's computer stuff.
So I could keep blocking.
You just have to keep blocking him every time.
I just blocked him again. Well, it's good to see Regamarco and Spoon and Omans and David and all the people that joined us today. Nice to see you guys and girls. I don't know how many girls. Cabinet guys with us today. Cabinet guy, join us on the Monday show. Click on and off a couple of times. Hang around a little bit. Good to see you, Cabinet. He likes PL and SCAH, a couple that he likes. We'll get to that next time.
Go take with those.
Maybe I'll talk about this show. Kamal is in deep and got no more money to add anything. This is as long as you're not in margin, you should be all right. I think it'll turn around. But if your margin really, let's say, you really, pick any word you like. Yeah, so it's good to see. It's good to see all our loyal viewers here today, and we'll see you again on Thursday, on Friday rather, and on Monday of next week. Friday probably we do the show at about 11:30. Is that right? Usually.
11:30 sounds good.
Okay. So see everybody on Friday. Adios, amigos. Let's get that turnaround in the last half hour. Bye.